Hey everybody, we're live. What's going on and how you guys doing today? So welcome to the show, and we have some discussions to talk about basically. So yesterday on YouTube, I asked for a subject to speak about, and one of my subscribers, Nian Dang, basically said he wanted to hear about differences between prepaid and postpaid services, and so we're going to be talking about that today. Also, we're going to be discussing a little bit about um, routing and ROMing and why it was so great in the days of Android. So let's kick the show off. And again, welcome everybody to the show. I had to take a drink there real quick. So anyways, let's start off and talk about prepaid and postpaid and the differences between the two in today. Excuse me, I'm still under the weather, but we're going to talk about the differences between them today. Oh my gosh, this is not the way I wanted to start off the show. But anyways, yeah, coughing, this is really bad. But the differences between them today, because in the yesteryears, they were very different. Obviously, you would know the difference if someone had prepaid and postpaid. Obviously, by the device choice selection they had, and the types of services that they had. Because back then, prepaid was there for those people who couldn't afford a deposit or down payment for a cell phone line. Most of the postpaid carriers charged a deposit. I think Verizon had the most expensive deposit because it was literally $1,000 in the southern region for one line. I mean, your deposit could be up to 1,000. Some people only paid 100. Some people only paid 50, 450, 500, 700. It went by your credit. So I mean, that was like one of the main quintessential differences between prepaid and postpaid is that postpaid ran, and still till today does run your credit. So you had to have good credit in order to have better and good deals, cost effective deals that yielded not paying so much to have a cell phone. Those were yesteryears, and in today's market, some of that still exists, like deposits. They still exist in postpaids. Prepaids do not require a deposit at all whatsoever, and your credit does not yield you being able to have cell phone service or not. I think in today's market, postpaid tries really hard to be like prepaid, and that's only because prepaid became very, very, very popular. For some dramatic reason, prepaid, in a way, ascended higher than what postpaid could offer. So we're going to take Sprint and Boost Mobile, for example. With Sprint, if you were to sign up with Sprint service, obviously, you would have to pick your device that you're going to lease on their Flex agreement. Now, with that, your credit would be run, so it would determine whether you had a deposit for the phone that you were wanting to get, or if there was going to be a zero deposit, and like how much your monthly payments for the phone would be. Because today, the 2-year agreement has died. No provider really provides a 2-year contract anymore, because the contracts are now over the phones that you want to use for service. So with Sprint, you have the unlimited freedom plan. And what that plan comes with is unlimited talk, text, and data. The data threshold is at 23 gigabytes. So if you surpass that and the area that you're in is congested, Sprint has the ability to throttle back your data speeds until the congestion is alleviated, and then your speeds will return to normal. But also you get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot, so you can use the services to connect with a different provider, not a different provider, but a different device. And yeah, nowadays with that, you also get a subscription to the ad version of Hulu. So if you move over to the prepaid side, which is Boost Mobile has unlimited talk, text, and data, and you have 8 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. The differences between the two is that with the unlimited freedom on postpaid Sprint, you pay $65 before taxes. So it's the $65, your device payment, depending on how much that is, and then the taxes and surcharges. So you could end up having a cell phone bill per month of like a little over $100, depending on what type of phone you get. and if you have insurance for it too as well. On Boost Mobile, you're paying $50 flat rate. Taxes and fees are included. Now, it could be a little bit more if you put insurance on your phone that you bought, because you are buying a phone through Boost Mobile at a subsidized price. So even though you're not paying full SRP for the phone, you are getting it at a discounted rate, but you're still paying the phone, and the phone is yours. So something that normally would come out and be like $300 from the manufacturer, Boost Mobile is probably selling it for $200. So you're getting it at a discounted rate anyways. Differences nowadays, there's not really so much. I mean, today's postpaid market consists of having features that are given with their plan. So like Sprint has Hulu, T-Mobile has Netflix, AT&T, I think if you have DirecTV, you can bundle it all together. And is it DirecTV or is it Dish Network? I don't remember. I think it's DirecTV. But you can bundle it all together and just have one bill. There's Xfinity that's out there, which ties into also TV services. So I mean, there's just so many things that you can get with postpaid, just besides cell phone service. Whereas on prepaid, it's all about cell phone service. I mean, there's not a lot of feature stuff given in those things. I think like with Boost Mobile, you had like a 6-month trial for a title, but that was also given on Sprint too as well. But there's not a lot of side features thrown in compared to what postpaid's offering nowadays. And that's just because the differences between the plans are really not so different at all whatsoever. I mean, both postpaid and prepaid market today are offering fully unlimited plans. So there's not a difference there. What makes the difference is the phone selections, because postpaid, you have an array of different devices you can choose from, whereas on prepaids, they try to keep it to some mid-rangers, mostly budget devices, and very seldom would you get flagships. Unless you're like on Cricket or AT&T prepaid or Metro PCS, I mean, you can buy unlocked flagships and use it on their services, but that's not sold through them. That's like you have to buy it from the manufacturer, and then because it's already unlocked, you can use it on their services. Boost Mobile does not allow really bring your own devices. There's only a very few of them, and then most of them are just usually like Sprint devices that have been approved to be used on Boost Mobile. I think like the Blue S1 is probably like one of the unlocked devices you can use, and about a G5 Plus. So with that, I mean, you get nearly the same benefits with postpaid versus prepaid. But at the same time too, I mean, it's more cost effective to be on prepaid. If you're not really looking to have all these different types of of like features and all that other stuff that just comes along with it. So it's just one of those things where I feel like that it's really in the eye of the beholder what you really choose and want to do. All right, so moving forward, let's talk a little bit about routing and roaming, because routing and roaming is something that still happens today. You don't hear a lot of it, but it's still here today. People still do it, and the reasons why people did it. Obviously, if you don't know what routing and roaming is, basically routing your Android smartphone gave you the ability to have master control over your own Android device. So you were able to start messing with more of the internal dealings with Android OS and kind of make it yours, was what routing did. It was a gate. It was the door that you unlocked to give you access to just do just about anything you wanted to do with the Android operating system, including damage it where it's no longer functionable if you wanted to do that, which is called bricking. Roaming was where developers took the Android software and made it their own. So, of course, Android is open source, so you can get the source files for it, and you can basically build your own version of Android, and you can share it with people out there who have the same device that you have, and they can run your version of Android on their phone. You can add in key features. You can add in design. The possibilities were endless. And one of the things, because some people would ask, what was so great about rooting and ROMing your Android smartphone? And I think it has to make a playback with the whole term of hacking. See, when we hear the word hacking, we think of obviously a super intelligent person who uses a bunch of codes to be able to manipulate software and systems to do what the user wants it to do that they could do but are not supposed to be doing or are not authorized to do. And those things sound really cool. I mean, even the non-geeky, non-tech person thought that they were cool. So, to go in and be able to basically manipulate your Android smartphone, really at this point made you feel like you were a hacker. It allowed you to like have this sense of like you were doing something so covert and dark, and just also made people feel like they were just super intelligent. Like, I mean, like in days where rooting and ROMing was at its peak, and you would go into different chat forums and chat with people about the ROM, whether it was good. A developer would come up there and say, "Hey, I came up with this. I tweaked this. Download it. Here's a zip file. Download it and flash it onto your phone and tell me what you guys think." And then so much people would go in there and critique it, and these were just everyday people that worked like at Starbucks or Target or Walmart or wherever. But at home in their own leisure, they really felt like that they was just this super high tech CIA, this covert hacker, when really all you were doing was just manipulating software and having it work to your benefit and appeal to what you thought was cool and sexy and good looking. Rooting and ROMing just left this really big open hole in what's going on with mobile technology, because most of today's developers and most of those that do this tend to only pay attention to flagship devices. And the reason that they do that, it's not like they don't care for mid-rangers of budget devices. It's just flagships are mostly used. More people today are just so gung-ho about spending $1,000 on the phone that these developers know that the percentage ratio is going to be higher of someone having a flagship devices versus someone having a mid-ranger or budget. Eventually, every now and then, they will dabble with mid-rangers and budget phones. Sometimes you'll have someone who will learn to develop just so that they could, build custom ROMs for their mid-range and budget devices, because some of the major players, major developers aren't doing it anymore. And it's understandable. It's just one of those things where it's just like, what more people are using, obviously you're going to have a business towards. Do I wish that, rooting and ROMing was at its peak today as it was in the yesteryears? Obviously so. Obviously I do. Because those are the greatest days. I mean, like, my earliest videos on YouTube consisted of me just showing off a custom ROM built by a developer and what it can do on my Galaxy S2 Epic 4G Touch, which was a flagship device. So obviously it got a lot of attention. I really wish that those would come back. I mean, they're still here. Don't get me wrong. They haven't gone anywhere. You could find root methods and stuff like that. I mean, Max Lee from High on Android still every now and then drops a how to root video for one of the devices that he owns. I mean, he's cut back, but they're still there. You just, you just gotta wait and be patient until when he comes up with one of them. So anyways, guys, I would really love to know your thoughts, whether you're on here on Spreaker or if you're on YouTube listening. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section of this video. Let me know which you guys would actually prefer. If you could only pick one type of service for the rest of your life, would you choose postpaid or prepaid? Let me know the answer to that in the comment section of the video. And if you used to root and ROM, tell me what your favorite ROM was, and what device was your most favorite to customize. Leave all that in the comment section of the video on YouTube. Thanks so much for checking out my live podcast, and it'll be on every Sunday. You also can find it on Google Plus too as well, at the Aloha Android community page. So until then, guys, stay blessed. I love you guys very much. Thanks for checking out the show. If you're listening live, thanks for listening, coming in and listening live. And yeah, I will talk to y'all later.